Hi. So I had this thought the other day. I don't know whether I'm gonna get published, or rather the book I wrote is gonna get published, because I am gonna get published eventually. But I put in way too much of my soul into it, and blood and tears and sweat, for it to never have a physical body. So that's what I'm gonna be doing myself, because, well, I think I can do anything. So armed with a bunch of bookbinding videos and an unwavering self-confidence, I'm gonna try bookbinding my own book. So first things first, this is not meant to be a tutorial of any kind, because I've never done this. Not even like attempted. Okay, no, I have attempted it once, but not bookbinding itself, but making a hardcover, a leather hardcover. That failed. Like, I did everything right, I think, but it failed. So I do not have the best track record, but we're gonna make this work this time. So anyway, what I want to say, this is just a recording, a documentation, if you will, of my attempt for future me, mostly. I'm gonna explain the process a little bit of what it's gonna be, like the steps, and then we're gonna get into it, okay? Okay, so the list. First, I'm gonna do a few things simultaneously at first. So it's more like 1A. Okay, 1A, making the front cover. Because see, I'm not gonna be using leather, so I can only use cloth. But I'm not American or British or from any of the other more Western or English-speaking countries. So I do not have all the materials at hand that other bookbinders use, such as book cloth. Also, heat and bond, not a thing either. Instead, we're gonna be just hoping it works without it. So for the material itself, I picked linen, and it's very like tightly woven and pretty sturdy. And I did make a trial version of like a little small thing. Wait, I have that. So I made this where just like some thick cardstock, I don't know how it's called, I forgot now. And I put some of the some of the linen, I glued it on top with PVA glue, and I used a very, very thin layer, and I glued it on top, and it's fine. Like, it didn't leak through at all. If you see a little thing here, I just said 10. This is not glue related. Otherwise, this worked, you know? So I don't need book cloth, I just need this dirty linen. But okay, how am I gonna decorate the linen? Because it can't just be linen right now, even though it's a very pretty color. It's like emerald green. I'm not sure that shows up on camera, but it's pretty pretty. Fucking English. But I also don't have fancy decoration materials, such as a Cricut machine. What is that? I could decorate it with like maybe decoupage or whatever, but I want my own thing, right? So instead, we're gonna embroider. I haven't embroidered in many years, but I do know how to do it, so here's hoping it works out. And then when I glue it all together, it doesn't get ruined, because that's gonna take a while to fix. Okay, so back to the list. 1A, making the front cover, because I can't make the back cover, because I don't know how thick the book is gonna be. I need to make the front cover, then print the book, bind it, see how thick it is, and then do the back cover, because, well, I don't want it to be off. So I'm not gonna guess. I'm not gonna guesstimate. I'm just gonna do it properly. Then 1B, I'm gonna finish editing, or rather just proofreading. I'm just proofreading, and I haven't finished it yet because it's so fucking long. It's really, really long, so I'm more than halfway through, but I'm gonna finish in the next few days, so that's fine. And then 1C, making illustrations. I genuinely forgot that's a thing until my mom came in and said, hey, you know what I really like in books? Illustrations. And I'm like, God damn it, you're right. The thing is, I don't really like to draw, but I can, so I will, I guess, because, you know. The funny thing about her mentioning that she likes illustrations in books is that she's not gonna read this. Her English is fine, but it's not English literature kind of fine. And this is not me dissing her. She could not get past page 2 of chapter 1, but at least she could look at the pretty pictures. Okay, so when that's done, we're gonna move to phase 2. So I'm gonna format the thing, then I'm gonna print it. I'm gonna try printing it on my printer, but it likes to choke sometimes, so we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, I'm gonna be using my mom's printer at work and stealing ink from the government. And after that, we're gonna fold everything, we're gonna bind it, we're gonna poke holes, we're gonna sew it together and have the text block, make the text block. Okay, when I have the text block, I'm gonna measure out the thickness and make the end cover. Anyway, so when that's all done, we're gonna assemble it. You know, that's part 3, assembling. And, you know, there's a lot of other small things I have to do, like making the end bands, I think they're called. Make end bands, then, yeah, I don't know. Okay, so that's kind of the plan. And now we're gonna go embroider 1A and also edit and also draw. And I don't look enthused about this, but I am. So on to the embroidery. I've kind of already attempted a little bit of like test runs. See? Oh, see? Like the W and the little things. So we're gonna be doing this now for the foreseeable future. And hopefully that works out.
So I ended up drawing just a single illustration because I just did not have the time or energy for anything more. So enjoy this quick speed paint of it. I'm an artist. And here I'm doing some formatting stuff, like adding the title page and writing a Fox copyright page. Even though it's all silly and goofy, I still want it to look kind of official, kind of professional, so that's what I'm doing. I also just consult other books to see how like they do their front matter. So that's what I'm basing mine off of. And I'm also adding a fantasy map that I drew because, well, is a fantasy book really a fantasy book without a map? Even though the characters barely travel, like, what does it matter? It's my book. I can make it look however I want, and I wanted a map, so we're doing a map. Printing time.
Okay, so finished printing everything. I separated the signatures with black cardboard. Cardboard, Jesus. And now we're gonna fold everything. I made each signature only 16 pages, so 4 sheets of paper in total, because I tried with 32 and 24 and it was just too thick. Like the inner pages stuck out too much for my liking, and 16 pages just it's a nicer edge. So I'm hoping the final product is gonna be a bit smoother because God knows I don't want to cut everything by hand at the end. So yeah, we're gonna fold. Okay, I have a nifty little setup here with a wooden box that I'm gonna use as a guide when I'm folding so that the pages align better, like easier, you know, because I need them to be perfect, and doing it by hand like this will literally take me forever. So I'm hoping this is gonna work as a guide and shorten the process. And if it does, I am a genius.
I cannot explain to you how long this process took me, because I needed everything to be aligned. Even though in hindsight, it didn't matter because the edges got cut anyway. And yet, I had to. Like, I could not do it any other way. So, this is me struggling for way too long. I'm also first pressing down the papers with my hands and only then using the bone folder because I'm folding against the grain here. And I know that's wrong. I know I'm not supposed to do that. But when I buy paper, it doesn't say what the paper's grain direction is. So I got what I got, so I had to work with what I had. And I noticed that when I use the bone folder immediately, it kind of creases the edge. And to avoid that, I kind of coax it into place with my hands first. And I noticed that kind of avoids the whole creasing thing. So, you know, modern problems require modern solutions and all that. Yeah.
So, fun thing I discovered about black cardstock, it stains my fingers. I've reprinted this single signature like 7 different times. We're doing it again. Okay, so I finished folding everything, and this thing is thick. Like, I knew it was long, but kind of seeing it physically, like, that's long. That's a lot. That's way too much. But okay, I'm gonna press it down a little in my makeshift book press and kind of, I guess, start binding. And then I'm not sure what I'm gonna do about the edges because, like, they have that, you know, that feel, like that appearance of uncut books because this is uncut. And I guess it's kind of like it's giving made at home DIY. But I'm not a huge fan of this sort of edge. So I am very tempted to cut it by hand. But I guess I'm gonna see how it looks like after I bind it. So, I don't know, off to that, I guess. Okay, I did a test run, and I think it's fine. So now we're gonna do... Okay. I'm so scared. I want it all to be perfect. But okay, I don't know. I'm like I'm winging a lot of it. Like I'm just guessing. I don't know. I say I'm guessing, but I also did a lot of research, so I don't know, just hoping for the best and committing. Okay, this is going fine. I like that you can tell in the cradle that the holes are getting pierced in the same places, so that's a good sign. Okay, we have the manuscript, all the signatures pierced, and it's time to sew. I have some thread, I think it's just cotton thread. I have beeswax to wax the thread so it tangles less. And I have a fancy curved needle and a regular needle because I'm not sure how well it will go trying to do with this, but you know, just in case I have a regular one too. So, okay.
So I'm doing a simple kettle stitch here, and I'm not gonna explain how it works because there are other people who do it much better. So I'm just gonna link the video that I used for reference in the description, okay? I found that this process was much more enjoyable than I had thought it would be. So, you know, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. I liked it. So, that's nice.
Alright, so I bound this whole thing, this monstrosity. It's so heavy and it's so large. Like, look how thick this is. This is 100 and... What the fuck am I saying? This is 520 pages. It's so big. The binding took way longer than I thought, like 5 hours. For some reason, that was the step that I thought, oh, I was gonna hate the most because it seemed so tedious on all the bookbinding videos, but I found I really enjoyed it. Weirdly enough, like I started binding it and then I had to go away for traveling again. Oh, this has been busy for like a week. And all I've done was think about the binding. I'm like, God, can't wait to go back home and sew. So I actually really like the process and I'm probably gonna do a lot more now. Okay, so the plan for today is to glue this whole thing together. Just like put all the stuff that needs to be put on here and cut the edges because I don't like it. I don't like this at all. So I'm gonna cut it by hand, obviously, because I don't have a paper cutting machine. So we're doing everything by hand. Then I want to finish the end cover. And if I'm like fast enough with everything, I might be able to like put everything together today also, like the covers and the block itself. I don't know, we're gonna try. If not, it's another few days because I'm going away again. It's like, usually I'm very free and then the moment I embark on a project, suddenly I have no time. Well, anyway, okay, so going to do that.
For the end papers, I used this really pretty red and gold floral cardstock, but its qualities made the folding quite finicky as it kept creasing however it wanted to. This resulted in kinda ugly fold lines, but whatever, it's not like they're doing attraction here. To glue them on, I used newspaper to lay down a precise strip of glue of about 1/2 centimeter, and that's pretty much that. At this point, I'm unsure how many layers of glue I did, but certainly more than 3. Essentially, I just wanted to ensure all the spaces between the spines of the signatures were filled in, and let me tell you, a sponge brush does not help with that. It soaks up a lot of the glue, so whilst it's great for gluing like fabric on paper, it's not as great when you want a lot of glue. I let the first 2 layers dry out before going in again, and I repeated this process until I was satisfied. For some reason, I didn't think cutting the edges would be as difficult as it turned out to be. Like, this shit is not as easy as it looks at all. I don't know whether my knife was too dull even though I got a new one, or my technique was just bad, but for some reason, the knife was just not going through the very top of the page. I don't know why, but it messed me up. So I don't know. I don't know what I did wrong. I don't know, but I did something wrong. So here is approximately where I started to lose my sanity. I don't know what I was thinking. Obviously, whatever I was doing here was not gonna work, but I was locked in, right? Like, I had to find a way to make this whole edge cutting thing work. Because whatever I was doing, it was not working. And I tried many different methods to make it work, and it just wouldn't. It just refused. But I couldn't stop. I had to keep going, like some fucked up villain of my own story, I had to keep going. So go I did. And here it was the point of no return for me, I think. I tried to cut the second half of the text block a slightly different way. And I thought, you know what, that looks kind of decent, but then the first half is shit, right? So of course, I was like, okay, if I just do the same technique for the whole block, one final time, it should work, right? It should work, right?
I have officially gone insane. You know that fucking Queen song where it's like, how does it go? Wait, I think it's like, I'm on a rocket ship on my way to core. I'm on a rocket ship on my way to Mars on a collision course. This whole thing was a collision course. I'm in hysteria. Like, I have lost it. I have gone insane. I have all the marbles that were here are now everywhere else but here. It's 11. I started this at like 7. Like, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna cut the edges. I need to redo everything. Because I fucked up. I fucked up so bad. And for the first time in my life, I was laughing and crying at the same time. Like, that's never happened to me before. But I genuinely was sitting here, just laughing and crying. I was like, honestly, I've gone insane. Like, these 4 hours, they have did something to my psyche. They just reshuffled everything there. And I now feel like So anyway, with all my dramatics. So I was just cutting a second time. Like, I cut the first time, it went badly. I tried to sand it, it went worse. And I'm like, okay, let's cut it again. And then it went... So it had to happen. Because like I was cutting it, and in my head, I was like, God, it's like so late. You're so sore. You need to go to sleep. You need to rest. You need to do this with a clear head. And I just kept going. I was on a collision course, and I had to crash. I had to crash because I could not fucking stop. I don't know. I was in a trance. I could not stop until we got. So this is supposed to be straight, guys. This is supposed to be straight, right? Like this thing here, this is not supposed to happen. That was not supposed to happen, and it happened, and I don't have enough space there to cut it a third time, meaning I have to redo everything. Yeah, so you can tell it's my first time, huh? Like, I'm like, okay, what I need to do. Okay, what I need to do is I need to reprint everything, rebind everything, just redo everything. Okay, and I'm like, I've accepted this. And then I'm gonna cut it a different way. I'm gonna when I fold each signature, I'm gonna cut it then. I'm just gonna cut them then. So when I sew everything together, it's not gonna be very straight, right? It's not gonna, nothing about straight. It's not gonna be very flat, right? But it's gonna be flatter than otherwise, okay? And I'm gonna bind more carefully. And I'm just, because I wasn't happy with a lot of things. I wasn't happy how for some reason, even though all the things were at the same, fuck, I can't fucking speak anymore. I pierced them all on the same level, yet still this is not level at all. For some reason, this is very not even also, and I tried to make it even and it didn't work, and I'm like, okay, well, I bound it wrong. Like, I wasn't careful enough, so I'm like, okay, now this is, I've gone all through, like, this whole evening was just speed writing the stages of grief. I'm at the last one, I'm accepting it. And I'm like, this is gonna turn out for the better, because the second version of this, it's gonna be better, okay? It's gonna be better because I'm gonna bind it more carefully, I'm gonna fold it more carefully, I'm gonna bind it more carefully, and I'm definitely gonna fucking cut it more carefully. And there was just things in here that I wanted to change anyway. For example, where the fuck? Like, this is not fine, guys. Like, this was supposed to, okay, this is blank, this is blank. This was supposed to be blank also, and then this was supposed to be part 5, because this does not look how I want it to look. And it's like several, like there's a few of such places here, so like that's good, because I can fix that now. So I'm gonna go to sleep now, and I'm gonna go away tomorrow, and this is gonna be a couple of days of just fucking nothing. I'm just gonna calm the fuck down and try again. Okay, because that's what we do here. When we get down, we get up and we try again, and it's fine, and I'm totally fine. Good night. Bye. Okay, I have gathered my marbles. I have literally touched some grass, and I am feeling ready for cake fucking tomb. So everything printed again, and hopefully I won't need to do this a third time, because I don't have enough paper left, and I would prefer not to spend even more money on this fucking project. So we're gonna fold it and do everything that I did already again. So
Whee!
okay, I'm finally back where I was before it all went to shit. So this is the newly bound text block, and like, it's fine. It weirdly like warped. Like, the other text block didn't really do this, but like in the seams here, like, I know the camera can't pick it up, but there's like weird like warping, and if I kind of I don't know, if I run my fingers along like this, I can feel that there's like a little kind of, I don't know how to call it. I don't even know how to call it in my own language. So I don't know why that happened. Maybe because I folded against the grain or something, but it's fine. Like, in the grand scheme of things, it's fine. So I don't know. I guess we'll work with it. So up next is the edge cutting, and you will notice that I didn't do what I said that I would do. So I didn't pre-cut the edges of each signature, and that is because I actually got in contact with someone who has access to a book cutting machine, right? So I'm just gonna make use of that, okay? Like, yeah, I wanted to do everything by my own hand, but I tried and I failed, and I'm not doing that again, because I can't. Anyway, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna get this block cut properly, and that's why I bound, like, I left more like space here so it can be cut like this too. I wasn't planning on it, but you know, she offered to be like, hey, we're gonna cut on all 3 sides. So I'm like, okay. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing next. Yeah, and then we'll oh god, this took way longer than I thought it would. Oh my god. Anyway, going there now. Okay, some updates. So we got this cut, and it's so nice now. Like, look at the smooth edges. This is what I had in mind. This is what I wanted to do, and I just failed with that other attempt. So this is what I wanted. So this is good. This worked out. However, this also presented a new problem, which I already thought would be a problem. And so I was kind of anticipating it. But essentially, when I did my embroidery, I kind of, you know, spaced it based on the old size, right? So I made the cardboard covers based on like the size of the pre-cut version, right? And that's how I spaced my like front and back covers. Well, now that this is smaller, the covers also need to be smaller, meaning the sizing is off. Okay, that's fine, you know, that's fine. Like, I'm not gonna redo everything, obviously, because that took literally forever. But instead, I'm gonna do a little bit of a trick, okay? I'm gonna show you here. I've already folded it what I need it to be, but essentially it was like this, right? So the middle here, like, there's too much space left here. I would show it with covers, but I painted them, so I need to I need to wait until they dry. So just imagine the spine is here and the covers are somewhere here, right? So there's too much of a space here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna sew this place here. So there's like 2 centimeters here of fabric that gets crunched up. I don't know, you get the picture, you get what I mean, right? So it's gonna be a nice seam here, and I'm probably gonna cut this off once I sew it, but I don't know, we'll see. And that should be that then. I don't know, well, hopefully it works out. Okay, so aside from fixing the cover, I still need to finish like gluing everything to the spine. So I have the headbands done, for which I just used some of the same linen and a string in the middle to kind of, you know, make this, because I thought it would look nice, you know, like it's gonna be here, and then the cover is also green, and I don't know, I just think it's gonna be nice, okay? So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna do some cloth, and anyway, doing that.
So first I glue down the ribbon bookmark after making sure it faces the right way. Then I glue down the headbands and I press them down with a bone folder for extra firmness. And finally I attach the cloth that secures the spine in place.
Okay, I have everything ready, I guess. So I sewed this thing, and now it has a stitch running through the middle of it, and I thought I'm not gonna do anything like decorative because I don't want it to stand out more than it already does. And I didn't cut off this part here because I'm afraid that, I don't know, I'm just afraid. I'm so scared. So I have this, and I have the covers, right? And I painted the sides that I'm gonna glue the fabric on green, so it like the gray of the cardboard doesn't show through, you know, because this fabric is kind of a little see-through, so it'll look nicer. Even though it kind of fucked me over with the whole warping thing, but I think I figured it out. So I guess the only thing left now is to do the thing, glue everything together. Okay, so to explain my kind of process a little, I'm gonna glue everything together a bit differently than people tell me to. Because it's not just a single fabric that I can just glue however I want, right? It has the front and back covers already, like, you know, made. So everything needs to line up well, otherwise it's not gonna look good, and I'm gonna be really upset about it. So the first thing I'm gonna do actually is gonna glue the spine, right? I'm gonna glue it here so that this middle thing is in the middle, right? And then I'm gonna just, using some measurements or just my eyes, glue the other two here. So I am genuinely so terrified. like the edge cutting was scary, but this is infinitely scarier, I think. Because this is the part where things can go really wrong, and I hope they don't, because I don't know what I would do if they do. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine.
So I ended up cutting off the extra bit of material here so the spine glues on better. And I make sure to use as little glue as possible so it doesn't seep through. And for this, the sponge brush is really helpful. For the covers themselves, I use a spacer of around 6 millimeters next to the spine so I can make sure that the covers are spaced equally on both sides.
Yeah, it's not how we want it exactly, but it's gonna be fine, I think. We're gonna be fine, I think. That's the issue with embroidered covers. It's not very clean. It's like it has texture to it. Note to future self, make the back way tidier.
And now for gluing the rest of the fabric down. I cut off the edges, leaving a gap of a few millimeters from the board, and then I first glue down the longer edges, not really caring about how much glue I'm using, before doing the shorter edges. Then I use a bone folder to ensure everything is glued down properly. Then, once the covers are dry, I use some non-stick paper to protect the rest of the book as I lather on glue on the entire end paper. Then, since I've already aligned the covers properly, I close it, change the non-stick paper into a clean one and press everything down. And then repeat for the other side.
We did it!
Overall, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, especially considering it was my first time. Like, the embroidery is a little crooked there at one corner, but I think it's fine. Like, all things considered, it really has that this was made at home vibe. And you know what? It was, so that's not a bad thing. None of the glue seeped through anywhere. The pages are cut nicely. It doesn't seem to be any warping happening at this point in time. So yeah, I think I did a decent enough job. I considered giving a rundown of what this book even is about, but then I realized, oh, this will take forever. This is already a very long video, I can tell, and I don't want it to go on forever and ever. So I think I'm just gonna leave the book introduction for a different video. So yeah, all you need to know right now is that this is an adult fantasy that is quite complicated, and I will definitely need to write out a script to properly talk about it.
Oh my god, this took unreasonably long. Like, tell me why this took almost 2 months. I mean, I know why, I was traveling, but still. There were so many delays on so many things. I mean, I had to redo everything once, so... But despite everything, we're here. I did it. And you know what? For a first try, it's okay. Like, the crook here is gonna bother me. Like, it bothers me and it's gonna bother me. But it's... I don't know why it happened. Everything else is fine. It all glued together nicely. And then, like, nothing seeped through. It's all nice. It's all fine. And you know what? The spine thing? That looks nice, actually. It looks intentional. And that is what we're going for. Overall, it's not bad. So, I have a physical copy of my book now, which is so cool. I know every single sentence by heart by this point, but I want to read it again. It's good, okay? Like, okay, I don't know if it's good objectively, but it's good to me. Like, in my heart, this is good. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following me on this journey, witnessing my brief mental breakdown. And yeah, be sure to, you know, subscribe, perhaps, if you liked it. You can subscribe, you can like, and you can maybe tell me what you thought, perhaps. Thank you. I will see you later. Bye.